So, good news! Good news! Jurassic World Evolution 3, the rumour mills and the financial reports and the meetings and things, it sounds like it's happening because it's a safe bet and they made good money. So, Frontier. Moving onwards, this is a wish list. I want to just talk about, what I would like to see from a new game. And, maybe I'll touch on some of the other issues, of course. Yeah, I'm Frosty510, like and subscribe, I'm not joking. So, everyone's being loud. So, what I would actually expect with a dose of realism, before I go into like a full wish list of everything that would be great to have, is the basics. So, maybe a few more animations, a lot of repeat animations. They have the library of animations they've got for each of their dinosaurs, each of the interactions between the dinosaurs of the same species, all the combat stuff. I feel like, as much as I wish that they would probably add a whole bunch of new animations and maybe get rid of some of the old ones so you don't have too much of that doubling up, so people don't feel like they're being gypped. Maybe just slight alterations to the older animations just to make them feel a bit more fresh. The actually adding interspecies interactions, social interactions between the different species, adding in social interactions between carnivores and herbivores when you have hostility turned off. I feel like it's a lot of hopium. So, I feel like our wish list in this case is just pure hopium, just hoping for the best, because I actually, as a person who's played many iterations of Call of Duty, when you have the same team work on a project, you're very likely to get a similar product. And not a great change or innovation. And when you have different teams work on a project, in the case of Call of Duty for the most part, when they each have a different license that they take care of, you have different takes on what is the best thing, and then they don't build and grow on each other. So there's the other argument where they shouldn't have a Jurassic World Evolution 3 because they should not have made number 2 and they should have just kept building on 1. And I understand that, but I also see how they make their money from DLC packs. And so the key to DLC packs is to make a new game, to move the player base from one game to the next, and then sell them all the DLC packs, they buy all the packs, and then move on to the next one, they buy all the packs again. And although you could say The Sims has stopped with that, they've just gone, that's enough, we just want to stick on one game and just add packs to that. And they've got 1 billion packs. With Sims 4, it's really that thing. It can work both ways. It can work that you stick on the game and you just build, and you can do another release and just add back all the dinosaurs you took away, or add new ones, or come up with new creative ideas, which is, again, a wish. I wish that they come up with new creative ideas. Or what they could do is just take what they've already done from, Planet Zoo Tycoon, Planet Coaster, and just take some of the ideas. Because obviously, more animations, more interactions, more depth to the personalities of dinosaurs, I think would be fantastic. So just having way more of a particular. So we're just missing like one tab. So after we get all this, we got, all the basic stuff. We got infamy. We have we have a personality tab, and that makes each dinosaur unique. And I feel like, as much as you want to do the genetic alterations to make them more docile and all that sort of stuff, I do wish that there was kind of leaving that to personality, and they could have random genetic augments, even more so, like hyper focused, as opposed to just you have your trade-off. You can have this, but you can't have that. Yep, 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 yep. So, switching in progress. One of the things that I think was good about too is that you could unlock. See, I haven't unlocked everything. Terrible. The unlocking the different skin colors and patterns through doing the challenges. I think that was good. That actually gave me. That was fun to do. Challenging in a lot of cases sometimes, until you sort of get the flow of the game and you work out the mechanics a bit better and realize that it's actually quite an easy game once you understand what you got to do. And in terms of just not overextending your finances, you can actually make a lot of money and just run it through fast time. And it's just the challenges in the game I think need to be looked at. What you could offer, how to unlock dinosaurs, the research mechanic, whether or not I should release this one and then have it eat all the herbivores as background. The guests are another part of it. Obviously, being able to actually see their details, which is something you can already do in their other games. It's kind of like, who are these people? What are they interested in? Definitely knowing more about their wants and needs when it comes to, park facilities. Into the details is in like arcades and food, and there was really kind of the same sort of shops worked in all circumstances, which was, I think, silly, because you should have, on a desert map, obviously you need more water. You should be able to have, you should have more intuitive, oh, you should sell more of these water things and the shop should make more money, and versus the ones just selling hot food in the desert, maybe they won't do as well, or depending on what the food is. I feel as though the depth is something that can be easily expanded, but at the same time, everything's a trade-off. This is the tricky part about any list of what you want, is going, well, I want this, but maybe we don't have enough time for all of that. It's like, I want more animations. Everyone wants more animations. I want more uniqueness to the dinosaurs. I want them to feel, like I've named this one. I want the needs to change as they age. And again, it's such an obvious one that we want them to have breeding and have baby dinosaurs. Whether or not you still have the predators able to do kill animations on the babies, probably, and that's going to be something of an issue. But I suppose you just have to. So we got this one. So I think the intolerant and large appetite, I don't think these are good enough descriptors for a personality. I feel like they could do much better. And I would love to see some unique ones where they, even if it's a predator, it doesn't automatically attack humans. Maybe it's just curious. You could have curious behavior from the predators when they don't just instantly lock into an attack animation where you can just see like the herbivore just stand still as the predator gets in position so it lines up for the animation. I feel like a lot of that is just immersion breaking. So adding into immersion with depth. Some of the challenges I think are they focus a lot on weather, random tornadoes and storms and hurricanes and things. I feel as though there could be a lot more human danger and not just scientists doing espionage. I mean, random people coming in, protesters trying to say, let the dinosaurs out, and they break the fence and they run in there like they want to be friends with the dinosaurs. Or like random stuff that happens in normal zoos. Even though it's rare, people do jump in with the lions and things. I'd like to see people jump in with the T-Rex. It's so weird, but at the same time, it gives you security personnel something more to do and gets more unique animations in that department. So you have more human-to-human interactions. And I think giving the humans more value is a way to go about adding depth. But, if you're going to choose between the two, obviously you want to have more depth with the animations and the interactions of the dinosaurs and the behaviors and the breeding. And maybe even taking some other ideas from Zoo Tycoon, Planet Zoo, taking the idea of the trading with other people with their animals, the rare ones, breed ones, and then have a good breeding program, and then you can trade the babies away. And I feel like having that kind of any online multiplayer-y connection would be really interesting, and I'd like to see them explore different modes. Alright. Yeah, we gotta release it. Clipping between dinosaurs running into each other, again, they shouldn't be able to walk through each other. That's just an obvious thing. I think the fencing at times can be a little odd. I would prefer, even when the fencing is, level 6, and the dinosaur technically can't break through it, according to the game, I'd still like to see them try. I'd love to see them just, because their personality is there, they don't like being confined. They just don't work out as a long-term dinosaur in your park. They just always try and break out, and they slowly destroy the fences, or they always disrupt things, and it does actually have a negative impact. I'd love, like, a negative impact on your staff. I'd love more than just the scientists, even, I would like just a well-being in general of all your staff members and how they're feeling about the situation. The security guards, if they're constantly being harassed in their vehicles when they go to check on the dinosaurs, it does erode their feeling, their work happiness, their OHS, they call in, and they want to review, and they quit. So I do think you have a turnover of staff if the staff isn't safe, if the staff aren't safe and the park isn't safe. I'd like that too. I'd like when you do have, someone dies, staff gets eaten or whatever, you actually do have to meet with the lawyers and negotiate things, or it has some sort of meaningful impact. I feel like a marketing, even if it's just a improvised, news report comes up. Latest news, another attack in this park, stock's down, and then say it has an impact on your actual budget. Now, I'm in Sandbox here, of course, but injuries as well. I'd like it if from combat you could actually have, like, missing limbs, things like that, the details of long-term scars. More, I don't know how gruesome you want to get. This is kind of where you could, maybe they wouldn't have the permission. They do have dead carcasses, so you could say that the game does have a lot of gore anyway, but I feel like there could be more flesh and guts and things, but I don't know. I feel like Frontier wouldn't like that, and that's fair. No one likes the dinosaurs dying. I mean, that's. But it's just, it would make the combat seem to have more depth without actually adding a lot more depth. If they could actually, rip each other's insides out, that would just make it seem way more intense. That could be a good selling point for the game. But at the same time, you wouldn't have to actually radically redesign the combat system, which I think would be great if it was redesigned. I do not like how it's always 1v1. It doesn't make a lot of sense at times when, the Velociraptors, of course, with their pack can just all jump on. And, the Compsognathus groups can jump on the people. But it's just like, I like to see pairings when they're logical and actually say, like, two slightly smaller carnivores battling a T-Rex sort of situation where they'd work together. The camera in the trees is it's always annoying how it's kind of like is jank. It's kind of it is annoying. The trees themselves can be really annoying, particularly with the pathing with your park vehicles and not being able to drive through. And it makes sense, but it also is just like, ugh. But then again, immersion, you don't want to be able to just go magically through them. But I like the backgrounds. One of the things that I think is really good is the background areas, but I feel like they don't really have a lot of relevance. And I'd like them to have relevance, like there was a town nearby, a small town, and you want to have, say you got a bunch of really, really loud dinosaurs. The town actually doesn't like that, and they have people come and complain. I'm pretty sure I don't have hostility on. Let's see. Research. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs behavior, danger, comfort, combat frequency, normal, on. And yeah, that'll make something interesting while I'm... Oh, yep. Lighting is another thing. I think more depth with lighting. Obviously, drone integration, having little drones fly around. I want some more totally stupid ideas, as in guests being able to actually just walk through, like a herbivore exhibit, just walking through there, not in a vehicle, just walking through, and people... Like if you have baby dinosaurs, you could have all the little baby dinosaurs in a little exhibit, and the people walk through. That'd be quite funny. Oh, now combat's on. It's on now. Deeper water. That's one that I can see why you wouldn't do it. Like, I don't think we're gonna have the normal land-based dinosaurs just swimming. But it would, I think it would be cool. And I would like a seamless integration between aquatic dinosaurs and land dinosaurs, but I feel like that's being very ambitious. So having actual deep water that blends naturally with the environment as opposed to the pool system, where it's set up in a way that kind of pulls you out of that immersion, and it's just like, oh, okay, they're in like a pool there. You could have them actually in a deep water, and then have the mosasaurus actually come up on land just a tiny bit and just grab a herbivore and then just go scuttle back into the water. That'd be pretty cool. Again, I can see why they wouldn't want to do that, but I feel as though there's ways you could make the aquatic pool thing, just make it a little more blended into the scenery, because at the minute it stands out a bit like a sore thumb. The seaweed stuff was okay. I feel like you should just be able to auto-fill the entire pool, regardless of the size, with just, seaweed and basic amenities. Basic decorations. Just to, an auto-fill sounds reasonable. And you can go into, like, minute detail if you like, but I feel like that would just make sense. Changing needs. I'll go back to this point. I feel like I really do want to see dinosaurs age and actually show the age, because it should be really obvious when a dinosaur is old before it dies of old age. Oh, there's a fight. Content with fighting. That doesn't make a lot of sense. The changes in facilities, I feel as though just more depth. Oh. Nibble. And they should be able to fight back, the sauropods. Obviously, the sauropods should be able to fight back. That's just an old one. I think herbivores, when they're in danger, should be able to break, or at least try to break out of the exhibit area, or think to break out. I do feel like they should charge to the gates. And I would like a lot more options for the security team to, like, escort them out of the exhibit. Like if they could just sort of chaperone them out. So yeah, more challenge, more dangerous financial challenges. Investors pull out. I think there's a lot more they could do on that side, which isn't necessarily adding in anything of like great detail. It's just adding in little things, little justifications and storytelling that kind of makes your experience more unique as you go through each park, because you do have more random events. So more random events giving you sort of a false sense of depth, but then it's not really false. It depends on how much you buy in. Look at it sleep. I want more natural animals. So I do feel as though birds, many species of birds would still go into the exhibits. Many different animals would still go in. Foxes and things would still go in. Rabbits would still go in. There's lots of different animals that would not be scared away by dinosaurs. They would just go in there. Whether or not that, like, you know, you want to be able to release more animals to be hunted is part of that as well. Yes, like boars and maybe cows and things. Oh, cows might be a bit sad, but horses. Yeah, I think just adding a range, different number of creatures, being able to name them. Like, you release 5 goats into a thing and name them all, and then you can see which one survives the longest. Hunger Games. The choice to just dump people in exhibits. Research, I think you can... I don't have any problems with research, although it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think it could be a little bit simplified, because having to research the same place multiple times to get enough data and that sort of stuff is just like... I do think the narration and the sort of introducing new characters from Jurassic World, the most recent ones, I didn't really find that particularly enjoyable. I felt that mostly it was cringe, and their attempts at humor were cringe. I don't know if it's necessary, to be honest. I feel as though if we, with the next game, you could just separate yourself from that and have a whole different new team of people who are purely, financially interested in it or have a different perspective. You don't have to be tied to the movies. I feel like the movies at this point, they keep the franchise moving forward, but not necessarily in a great direction at times. So I wouldn't want to be restricted by them. I feel like you could do much more creative things with it in terms of a narrative, if you want to have a narrative, which they've shown the keen interest with the campaigns and with the DLCs. Well, one of the DLCs, Dominion. So. Tell me what you think. What are you thinking? Is more animations enough? Like, what justifies a new game? Is it just more animations, more depth, more combat? The changing the combat system, I feel as though, is a big task. Like, look at this. I'm locked in. He's trying to lock into a combat animation. There we go. He's locked in. Or not. We want a lot more false starts, a lot more feints. Controlling dinosaurs, I suppose, is the other way we could go. You could have a mode where you are the dinosaur. Oh, mate. See, that was it. Now eat the body. I think the leaving the corpses and not eating them is a bit disappointing too. I feel like you'd stop and eat them, unless it's killing just for fun. Come on, eat it. And I want animations for the actual consumption. Like at the minute you just clip through. And that's it. There should be like a going to bones or Something more interesting. I like watching them though. I do like watching them. So I think the likelihood of them adding a huge amount of the depth to the new game, I think is unlikely, honestly. I'll be real. I do think they'll maybe just add some more animations, maybe change the order in which they introduce the dinosaurs to mix it up. So they'll maybe have DLC ones introduced first and then add some of the older standard ones later. Maybe even introduce a lot less so they can sell more packs. Or add a whole lot more to the deluxe edition. I feel like the deluxe edition wasn't quite... Yeah, it could have been a bit bigger. But it is a park sim, so even if, they do add like a dinosaur controlling part where you just battle, like a battling mode would be pretty cool. Where you can like raise the infamy and then you control it to fight. And like you could do rock, paper, scissors style if you wanted to. I do think, the combat system is just... whether you want to put more emphasis on infamy or more emphasis on size or learning. So as in the older dinosaur always wins because it's more experienced. I mean, it's just been around longer to think and understand how its body works better. I think a growth system would be great. I do love the idea of you have the baby Tyrannosaurus Rex and it grows up. I think everyone, likes that idea. But just, again, with the aging, I want to see smoother transitions between, young and old. And it just making a lot more fluid, immersive sense. And then, of course, more marketing things with the promotion of your park and what sort of guests you want to have. Again, the guests having detailed stats and information so that it's worthwhile to get different sorts of guests and how much money you earn off them. More depth in terms of the finances, where you're earning your money. So much of it is really sort of just generic and doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. But again, being realistic, what is likely to happen is in different maps, different environments, different backgrounds. I'd love a city map. Oh my god, in the middle of like Central Park, New York, and you build a dinosaur park there. That'd be so cool. Then I want the guests to be more interesting too. You have celebrity guests and then they ask for special permission to like go places that are more dangerous and then they get eaten. And that'd be pretty funny. The other idea was to go, when you go first person mode, to be able to do more interesting stuff. So you go like first person. And you actually are a person, as opposed to just like a camera walking around. You could be a person who gets eaten. Or, has to get their tranquilizer out and then tranquilize like a velociraptor because it's attacking the guests. Which you do it from the back of the car, but not on foot. But you yourself are not in actual danger in that situation, but it'd be interesting to have an actual character you create. So you basically are the Owen Grady, and you can ride on the motorbike with the raptors, or like tame things, or get to have a positive relationship with the dinosaurs, and you can actually build a rapport as a character in the world. I think that would add a great deal of immersion, but I feel as it might be a bit tricky to implement. And I wouldn't want it to distract from adding depth to the park sim itself and making the whole thing feel more cohesive with the world and just more like a park, a theme park. Because I do feel as though, like with Dominion and the changing of the franchise, its direction, they have stepped away from the park aspect, and I feel like the park aspect is really, really, really strong. And I love the idea of it being set up and you're having the safety grid and being sabotaged and all this stuff happening and all the drama and trying to run it and make money is just, you know, it could be just, it is supposed to be the big part of it. Adding more interesting dinosaurs, more custom gene splicing, adding really weird, crazy things. That could be a whole aspect of the game that could, you know, lean into a lot. Trying to create some dinosaurs like Godzilla size. Ground deformation and tree destruction from the dinosaurs I think would be a really good addition. Just adding immersion, not clipping through trees and objects and actually leaving footprints in the ground so that you feel as though they're having an impact. And then if you have too many herbivores, they actually do eat the plants and the plants do disappear and you have to plant new ones, or, you know, move them around so they don't destroy the environment of the exhibit too much. Because I feel like as though adding the depth to terrain deformation as well as just editing, so you can add waterfalls, add cliffs, add more interesting terrain to have. Again, you open up the breadth of animations needed to deal with it. And then of course we have the flying dinosaurs and adding more depth to them, and your aquatics. Clipping is not good. Yep. I like if there was, I suppose, overeating detriments. Like the dinosaurs can actually get fat from overeating, and then they can't run as fast. I do feel there's a lot of physiological things that could be added to the game to add depth to your medical side of it in taking care of the actual animals themselves. Taking care of the dinosaurs and going, wait a second, this one's got a long-term issue here, actually has real medical issues that aren't solved instantly, that have to be solved over time, or more research so you can actually fix a broken leg. Or, you know, I feel like everything is a bit easy at times, and the only challenge is the tornadoes and the storms and things. And once you go in sandbox and you turn those off, which is like the first thing you do, it just changes a bit of the dynamic of the game, because otherwise you're just so busy trying to rebuild fences from being destroyed by hurricanes or tornadoes that it's just, that's sort of like this endless loop of you tranquilizing your velociraptors when they escape, or the T-Rex breaks the fence again. You get, oh, send the chopper to tranquilize him. I feel as though they are handled quite easy, some of the situations, but it's more like an annoyance, and that's why sandboxes, you know, you just turn it off. There's no, you know, reward incentive for a lot of those challenges, and I feel as though there was this kind of the way sim games can be structured is that they give you like a challenge mode, you do that, you unlock your stuff, and then from then on you can just do your own thing. But I don't know, more depth in terms of the modes. How do you add more? How do you add a roguelike sim creation mode where you have you're starting random assortment of animals at the start, and you've got to find a way to succeed financially with more financial challenges, of course, because I do feel as though the financial challenges are quite limited. Once you understand which sort of shops always do well, you can set those up, and then which dinosaur does well, you just keep it alive long enough to make a good amount of money. You don't get too many dinosaurs, and you just sort of focus on the one you need, and then you just speed up time until you got a shit ton of cash. Like Mosasaurus. Once you get a Mosasaur, you're done. You beat the game. Get a 5-star and you're done.
Do I want the dinosaurs to fight? No. But do they want to fight? For some, it is what they were born for.
All the stuff with Dr. Henry is just... I don't need it. Let's go to a nice place and just chill for a second. All the stuff with the scientist, all the dialogue, the movie character dialogue, it's okay the first couple times, but yeah, I don't need it. In a new one, it's been done. I feel like it's just been done. I want, with the challenges, I do want more wild goals, more interesting goals. Like what sort of parks you want to create, or what sort of goals, why you need to create them. So more motivations to do some interesting different things, different designs. And again, the terrain alteration being more interesting would be great, adding cliffs. And I think dinosaurs dying by accident would be good too. If you add a cliff and the dinosaurs actually, a herbivore is being chased and it jumps off the cliff and doesn't make it, that'd be interesting. Adding pitfalls to your what you think actually looks nice and the guests would like, but then it actually ends up getting the dinosaurs killed would be really interesting. Like adding in different plants and flowers, being able to actually do that. Because again, in the first movie, some of the different plants had a negative reaction with the dinosaur. So it would be more interesting to just bring back some of the basics in terms of what you actually introduce and what you know about the dinosaurs and what sort of things they like. I feel as though there's not much mystery. I'd love to, as you introduce things, you find out what they like and don't like. Not just straight away you know exactly what plants they want. It's kind of like there's just not a lot of figuring things out when it comes to that part. It's just getting the right amount of each thing. As opposed to going, oh, I've given this food, it has this effect. Maybe it makes them more thirsty. Maybe there's only little subtle signs that something's going wrong, and then you find out, oh, wait a second, it actually was a big bad thing, and you learn from it. There's not a huge amount you learn other than just get the highest level of fence you can get, and just put it in no matter what. Just so even if you put stuff nearby, it doesn't break through. Oh, he's injured. Surface wounds. Oh, from attacking the damn park teams. More colours, obviously. I'd like the guests to name the dinosaurs and have like when you release a new dinosaur, then you have like a park vote, and then the guests in the park have like a list of names that they like, and then you can ignore them and choose the name you like. But I would like, there's so much more minor additions you can make to the game to make it have more depth, or just feel like it's more alive. Oh, Ranger Team 1 can't find a route to their destination. Check the area for stuff. But yeah, I do. I keep reiterating some of my points, but I think there's a reason for that. I do love the idea of the dinosaurs' needs changing and like their social needs changing. So as they get older, they do want more. Oh, have I got a hostile? Like as they get older, they do want more social interactions or less. And then how you have to actually balance that out will be really interesting. So this is this particular park is just an open safari park. So it's got all of the little critters in there. All the critters. They do sort of mill around like a certain area, and then only a few of them actually break off and go on their own. Like the herds don't herd at times; they kind of separate, and then sometimes they do. Like Triceratops there, but then you got these guys all the way down there. There certainly could be a lot more grouping behavior, group social behavior, and what more movement around the entire, however big the area is. Even though it is quite a big area, so I can understand why they're not going too far. Plants and vegetation degradation as a result of environmental events would be good, as in the plants get destroyed by storms and tornadoes. Because at present they don't. Just the fences. Just the thing that matter. I would like, say, your velociraptors break out, you're early on, and they, get the taste of blood, and you have to actually quarantine them because they've gotten the taste of blood, and they're, want to do it again, and you have a different change in their personality. They suddenly become incredibly vicious. Or you have an interaction that makes that happen. Like, you actually have personality shifts due to the results of poor care. Like, you tranquilize them too often, and they suddenly become more resilient to the tranquilizing. Or they see it coming and they're able to dodge it, or they try to dodge it. You could have that kind of learned behavior and different patterns of behavior. I think that would be like if they're nearby to a T-Rex and the T-Rex keeps, being very, very loud, it could actually make them long-term nervous, and they have like too much stress and they can barely eat. You actually have like oh, wait a second, I can't have these dinosaurs next to these dinosaurs because it actually has a long-term negative effect on their well-being. And then I think that would probably add a bit of depth in terms of the park design, which would be interesting to have. Whether or not you could sort of mitigate sound with the trees. You actually have to put the trees along the borders of a certain dinosaur exhibits so that they don't, see each other, or they don't hear each other as much. It sort of blocks a bit of the sound, because trees do absorb a lot of sound. That's why you need them in urban areas too, because it is a really good thing for, again, oxygen, but mostly absorbing sound. So people, can have parties and things and not worry so much. But in this case, I do think the interactions between all of the dinosaurs could be way more in depth. And I would like to see, I know there's some species that don't like other species, but I feel as though that could be expanded a lot more. And particularly with the sounds they make, adding a greater list of different sounds effects in different circumstances and different calls that sort of add more personality and more, you're reading the emotions of the creatures from the dinosaurs from the sounds they make and mannerisms they exhibit. And then the guests. Back to the guests again. Alright, let's go to another one. And let's talk about the water park. It's fine. But, back to realistically what you can actually expect. I think you'll just get like a couple more animations, maybe different dinosaurs introduced in a different order. Different scenario, I think. That will tie in with the new movie coming out. They'll try and connect it. Maybe we'll have the locust swarm. More insects. They were obsessing with the stupid feeder. So, water. My big problem is this. I would love to have like a connecting to a beachhead, and they can come up to the beachhead. You could have even the fence go around the beachhead. So you could have they come up onto the land a little bit to eat, and so the crowd can see them really clearly. Again, this may just be with your What's it called? The ancient alligator. That's big crocodile. It's huge. God damn it. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying? I like crowd reactions when they do see the dinosaurs in this situation. They go, ooh. I'd love, I know this is a massive water park, but I'd love to be able to see further. Like, it not be so dark. Because again, there's a lot you could see. More variety. We had the feeder that's like this. I do feel as though they could do a lot more different feeder varieties for the aquatic animals. More interactions with the social interactions, a lot more combat animation adjustments. They don't want to go over here. So it's like, ugh. I do have the central feeders here, the shark ones, so but there's a lot around. I would love to be able to run a pathing that connects to the fencing so that you have viewing around the entire exhibit. So as opposed to just having viewing platform like that, I would love just a path that goes around, because naturally you would have walkways that go all the way around. But with the way that the paths are designed, you can't attach them to things that would be logical. Like having it run parallel, connected to this would just make sense, because you need security staff to be able to monitor the entire thing, as well as, engineering staff if the lights break. And there's just a lot of little immersive touches that they could add. They're just, apart from the obvious one of being able to manage all your staff in terms of your janitors and shop staff and all that sort of stuff, and security personnel and their likes and dislikes and how they're feeling about their overall safety in the park and the future of the park and that sort of thing, hopes and dreams and that sort of stuff, and promotions and training and all that sort of stuff. Indoors, more detail in terms of actually seeing inside the shopping thing you could do. Again, maybe that's a bit too excessive. The profit's crazy. I love more guest interactions like thieves, all that's just the basic stuff. Oh, why are they all stuck on this bit here with this? What are they doing? Alright, let's run them over. I'd love this to actually have a negative impact. You running over guests in your park actually has some sort of... Again, you don't necessarily need Grand Theft Auto, but that would be interesting. I do want changes to watercolor, having options to have not just blue. I want choices. I want more clear, or I want more more green, more greenish blue. I do love the Pennsylvania, the trees in the background and stuff. Looks good, so good. More breaching, obviously. I want more of them to breach the water. Just from a basic visual point of view, it looks nice. Humpback whales breaching looks fantastic. So it's just one of those things that would look so sick if they just breached, just in general, as opposed to only at the feeder. And then it's, other fish sort of, existing, or being able to put whales in there and then have the Mosasaurus hunt a whale. I know that's a bit excessive, but that'd be cute. And then actually them eat the corpses. I feel like the corpses in the ocean, the aquatic thing, they just look stupid. So I'd love it if, they actually eat them. And then you had the other ones come and eat them too. And yeah, that'd be sick. Absolutely sick. Yeah, finances is just 3 minor guest issues. See? Overcrowded. Look at this though. Profit per minute, $1 million. Upkeep per minute, 62,000. Yeah, we're making money. I just like to narrow it even closer. Each specific guest what they do like, because it is so much of it is just it's put all the information in one spot, not giving us the information at the ground level. So we can't link the two. It's just these are just random creatures. And I want obviously taller viewing platforms, like really, really tall, like a giant tower. That'd be cute. More decorations, obviously, but I like an auto decorate option and just fill the whole thing up. Again, this is an extreme example because it's a giant water park. So again, you can't see the dinosaurs here in the middle, so it's kind of a waste. That you can't have a bridge that connects across. A bridge would be so good. The other way to do it is you set up a monorail, but that doesn't. It's a bit. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. But yeah, a bridge would be great. And then that way you can create little pod islands and then have exhibits on them. And I feel like you can make a much more interesting park. Again, there's so much you can do with mods on PC that you can't do on PlayStation, which is where I am. So again, that's why I got to be more realistic. That's why I got to be more tempered with my expectations of what the third game would be. Let's go back to menu. Oh, that's fine. Because, yeah, I don't have access to mods. So I haven't seen all the amazing creations. I've seen a couple, but I haven't been able to experience it for myself. So I'm held back by what Frontier give me. And it's quite sad. So yeah, I'm waiting for what they're gonna give me. I'm waiting. So again, an online interaction option where you breed the dinosaurs and you try and get one with the perfect personality or certain type, or has good breeding stats, so it's more likely to have more eggs. I think that would be really good. Again, maybe that's just taking something away from the research. You have to take something away to be able to give it back in a way that's more interesting, so you can have an online community where people are like, oh, I'm the best at, yeah, I can breed, yeah, I got the best Compsognathus in the world, and they always have a massive litter of 50. They just always have the most, and everyone loves them, and they're a rare color. You could have something, you just gave birth, one of them's a shiny a shiny Pokemon dinosaur. Yeah, God, I've been rabbiting on and on for a long time, but I do think you know I think I think they look good. But I would, again, the other thing, of course, is that you need to be able to have the option to put the fur on them. The feathers. Now the birds, man, the birds. Obviously make taller and larger and more interesting bird exhibits. That'd be really good. I feel like I've covered so much, but I feel like I've talked in circles at the same time. Yeah. So what do you think? Tell me what you want. What's on your wish list? Is it just more animations, more depth, park sim depth? Is it, one-on-one interactions with the dinosaurs in the first-person mode? We can build up a rapport. You basically become Owen Grady, and you're doing that. What else is there? You want no DLC packs. You want a game to release and it's got all the dinosaurs, and they don't add any DLC later, so you don't feel like you're missing out on content. I'd like that, but that's not going to happen. And yeah, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep releasing the games and doing the DLC pack stuff. That's where they're making their money. So they don't see no reason to stop. They don't see no reason to just go, oh, Jurassic Evolution 2 will do. They've already gone to 2. Once they go to a 2, it just goes. From the Call of Duty experience, once they go to a 2, it's forever then. They just keep going. They've opened the can of worms, and they'll just keep on doing it. Even if it doesn't actually benefit them from a improving the game standpoint, but from a financial standpoint it does, so they don't give a shit. It's a little bit sad. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. If you're here at this point in the video, you're a champion. Like and subscribe. Frostify10. Rambling on and on about Jurassic World Evolution. I enjoyed the game. So yeah, I'll be one of the few. But then again, I'm missing out on so much. So it's kind of like, all the mods and things that do so much more. And I'm just missing out on it. So chances are they've addressed a lot of the concerns I have. And have added a whole bunch of depth with mods. And maybe the developers can just steal those, or just buy them, pay for those mods, and just be like, integrate them into the game. Lots of developers have talked about doing that sort of thing. I mean, they bring in modders to help add content, and then they don't really do anything with them. So it's kind of tricky. But that said, we live in hope. This is a hopium of just repeating the same thing over and over again. Be like, more interesting animations and interactions. And then I'd love the integrating between the aquatic and the land dinosaurs so that they can have interactions as well. That'd be so fantastic. But never going to happen. Like, you could drop a T-Rex into the aquatic exhibit and see what happens. That'd be so cute. Just so much more interesting things you could do. Just with crazy stuff and so much more animations. And the burdens. The burden on the 3D animation team. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, my voice. I need to drink some water. Yeah. I do watch a lot of the Gaming Beaver. So, yeah, if you want to see other dinosaur content, he's really, really good. He does these battle rails and things. I watch a lot of that. So, but that said, my sort of views are a bit different. So, hopefully, you tell me yours in the comments. And, yeah. It's a long-ass video where I just rabbit on. It is what it is. I keep saying that. I'm terrible. Alright. Have a lovely day. It's been Frosty510. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.